Good evening, everyone. I'm Akush Lapindo. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks so much for tuning in. Last-minute preparations underway as legislators count down to a new session of Parliament following a general election that saw the then opposition overthrow the government. Normally attracting large crowds and a significant television and online audience, Wednesday's opening of Parliament will adopt a new venue, due in part to COVID. You can say that as long as one can remember, the opening of Parliament has always taken place in Rawson and Parliament Squares here in the capital. Fact is, in 1729, when Parliament started, members actually met at the house of Samuel Lawford, subsequently moving from one house to the next until about 1815, when the present structure was built, according to Chief Clerk of Parliament David Forbes. Centuries later, the October 6 opening of Parliament will again assume a different location at the Baha Mar Convention Centre, Cable Beach. A release from the Office of the Prime Minister cites various reasons for the shift, among them the threat of adverse weather, the active demolition of the Churchill building, and seating limitations in Parliament Square due to social distancing protocols.
If we set every member of the House of Assembly 6 feet apart, 30 members will not be able to hold in the House of Assembly. It will also exclude all spouses of the members. It will also exclude the press, and none of these things are acceptable. Every member of Parliament has a right to be sworn in on the date of the first meeting of the Parliament after the election. We always extended the courtesy that members can bring their spouses, and usually they bring one or two other guests. In addition to that, how can you have an opening of Parliament if you don't let the further state in the press?
As Forbes explains, while Parliament can have an opening as many times as it cares to, the UK House of Commons has one at least annually. We've seen locally where a session can run the entire 5 years. Wednesday's opening of Parliament follows the Progressive Liberal Party's September 16th general election win of 32 of the 39 seats in the House of Assembly. It brings together members of the three branches of government, a key feature of it, the speech from the throne, read by the Governor-General. That speech outlining the government's policies and objectives for the new session. It also highlights laws the government hopes to pass. Staged in full pomp and pageantry, many officials and dignitaries are expected to attend, a reflection of the Westminster system as adopted by British Commonwealth countries. Among the invited guests, Turks and Caicos Speaker Gordon Burton.
The guest list is controlled by the cabinet, so they'll be the ones who will say how many people will be there. But I know that when as large as the Baha Mar Convention Centre is, when you're dealing with social distancing, if you're going to do that properly, you're not going to get more than 1,000 people in there.
In the meantime, Forbes and his team have been busy preparing for weeks.
We started immediately after the House was dissolved. We started starting our initial preparation for the opening of the Parliament. You're dealing with the opening of Parliament. You're talking about parliamentary protocol, which is very different from the protocol of the courts or the protocol of the executive branch, which is controlled by the Department of Protocol. By the parliamentary protocol, there are certain things that have to take place, and the House of Assembly would be the Parliament would be the only institution that really knows that.
For the ZNS News Network, I'm Akush Lapinder.
If you missed anything, we've got you covered. Subscribe to our ZNS Network YouTube channel and follow us on our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for breaking news, live event coverage, web exclusives, and much more.